Kapach, and I speak to you from the Ma'aleh Film School in Jerusalem. Ma'aleh Film School is a very unique school. It's a professional school for cinema and television, but we realized several years ago that our films that the graduates of the school are making are dealing with many issues of Jewish and Israeli conflicts. And first of all, Ma'aleh is a professional school, so everyone can do whatever he wants to do. But because of the students come from either religious background or traditional background or secular background or even ultra-Orthodox background, we realize that we have so many films that are dealing with questions that have to do with Jewish identity, such as the role of the women in the family and Shabbatot and holidays, and what does it mean to be a soldier, what does it mean to be an Israeli. The school is located in Jerusalem, between the old city and the modern city, so maybe this is also something that reflects the students to make films that are dealing with our heritage in a modern life. So we came up with a new idea to make educational kit with some of our wonderful films that are dealing with our identity, and we called it Seret Nekuda Shiur. In English, we call it Film That Course. This is what I'm about to talk about in the next 60 minutes. So let's start and see a small clip which maybe try to understand what does it mean, film that course. Let's go. Thank you. We will go back to that web address at the end of this session. So yes, what we did, we took some of our great films and we put them in this kit. This is in Hebrew and this one is in English. So you can find both of them. In each kit, you have the films inside and you have cinematic tools, Jewish resources, and analyzing and talking about what the film has in it. So I want to start with a few examples from Shabbat and the holidays. I will show you a little bit from each of the films, and I'll speak about the notes that we can work when we work with that film in the classroom, in the synagogue, in the community, or even at home if you want. So we will start with the first film. The first film called Tfilah Zaka in Hebrew, Pure Prayer in English. And it's based on a Hasidic story, which called the flute or Hachalil, or it has many, many versions. The story takes place in Yom Kippur, the highest holiday in the year, when a father went with his little son who didn't know how to speak. He was a little bit stupid little kid, and he only knew how to use the flute and how to play the music. But his father didn't let him take the flute to the synagogue because it's something that you should not to do in Yom Kippur. But the kid took the flute anyway. So when the father saw the flute in the synagogue, he was very upset at his son, and he took the flute away. But when it was Tfilat Ne'ilah, the afternoon of the Yom Kippur prayer, the kid took the flute because he really wanted to pray, and he made some music. And the Baal Shem Tov, which the story meant that he said the story, he said that this prayer will take all of our prayers back up to heaven because of his innocence. This film, which is called Pure Prayer, is based on that story. The story is about an old community near Jerusalem, religious community, but the kids didn't stay at the community. Most of them left, and Yom Kippur is about to come, and there is no minyan. There are no 10 people to be at the synagogue, and according to the Jewish law, according to the halakha, if you don't have minyan, then you have a problem to pray. So everyone wants to go to a different place. But one of the people that stays in the community, in the village, really wants to stay and pray on Yom Kippur on that place. And he has a son. His son is about 30 years old. He's mentally disabled. He's like a child. And according to the halakha, he cannot join the minyan. He cannot be in the tefillah. But the father has another difficulties with his son. So we will see a clip from that film, and then we will talk about it. Let's go.
לא שתית.
תכף.
נו.
צביקי לא יגיע ליום כיפור. אין לי מושג איפה אני אעסיק עוד בן אדם.
זה לא רעיון גרוע כל כך. מנחם אוהב להיות בבית הכנסת, ואתה חייב בן אדם, לא?
הנה לך בן אדם.
אמא, אני חושב שהרדיו שלנו התקלקל. מה עשיתי? וואי, אמא. מה עשיתי? וואי. אמא, בואי, אמא. תראי, תקדם.
מה עשית?
תראי, אבל אני לא רוצה יון. זה יון, אני לא נוגע ביון. זה בסדר? אמא, זה לא מסוכן?
לא, זה לא מסוכן.
זה לא מסוכן? לא, זה לא מסוכן, נכון? אמא, זה בסדר, נכון? אמא, זה כואב.
30 שנה שהגולם הזה ממרר לי את החיים. 30 שנה שהוא תלוי לי על הצוואר וחונק אותי!
אתה? מה אתה יודע על חלק? תתערב. מה אתה יודע בכלל על כל הפעמים שהוא נפל? שהוא נמצא במשהו, שמישהו צעק לו מילה רעה. לא שיכול להיכנס לך לעיניים. מתי פעם אחת בחיים שלו צחקת איתו? מתי בכלל פעם אחת חיבקת אותו במקומי?
Stop the next film. Thank you very much. Okay, so well, we saw Schwarzman, we saw the father and the mother. They are not young couple, and we saw Menachem. Menachem is the son, and it's interesting that the director decided to call him Menachem, which maybe it's the meaning of the name of being the one who will comfort, or maybe even the name of the Messiah. Anyway, Schwarzman, the father, has one problem, that he doesn't have enough minyan for Yom Kippur. But his biggest problem, that he is very difficult for him to accept his son. And the whole idea of the film is not struggling against the community if they will accept Menachem to the minyan or if they won't. because the film doesn't ask the question with the halacha, but with the people. What we see in the film that most of the people say to Schwarzman, if Menachem will be in the minyan, we're not staying for Yom Kippur. So this is very hard to see that the community doesn't want to be to accept Menachem. But it seems like according to the pure halacha, they are right. Menachem cannot join the minyan. So they stay alone, even though the father is really trying to let the people accept his son. But the main question is not between the community and Schwarzman, it's between the father and the son. And the minute when the father will accept his son and realize his fears, he will realize that he is a whole person and not only representing troubles, then at the end of the film, and I'm sorry that I'm saying what the end is, they will be alone at the synagogue, that they will pray together, Kol Nidre, as a father and a son. And the film goes to the question and also all the details and the resources in the package that the biggest question of Yom Kippur is מצוות שבין, עבירות שבין אדם למקום ועבירות שבין אדם לחברו. The sins that we do between each other and the sins that we do between us and God. And we know that Yom Kippurim doesn't give us any mercy or forgiveness if we don't solve the problems between each other. So the whole film puts the halacha a little bit aside and says that if we don't see the people among us, then the whole tefillah of Yom Kippur like worth nothing, because all the people from the community are very much okay with the halacha. They don't stay in the community, in the village for Yom Kippur, because according to the halacha, Menachem cannot join the minyan. But they hurt Menachem, they hurt his father. So in a way, this film says, if you cannot accept Menachem as part of the community, then even if you go and pray in Yom Kippur prayers in different places around Israel, on a whole communities, maybe your prayers will not go to heaven. And the film doesn't try to hide the fact that Menachem, it doesn't understand what does it mean to be adult, what does it mean to be, what does it mean God, what does it mean Yom Kippur. He's like a little stupid person. When he asked his mother, who is God? And she said, I told you many times. But he says, okay, but I don't know who God is. And then he doesn't understand. So it's really deep question whether he can join the minyan and be part of the public, especially in Yom Kippur. It's not like Rosh Hashanah, that Rosh Hashanah, like everyone, the whole world, the whole universe is accepting God as the king of everyone. But Yom Kippur is like a private from each one of us towards God. But also that the film is asking about this question, what is this prayer is worth if you cannot accept the one who is different, and especially in the family, if the father cannot accept his sons. So at the end of the film, when the father and son prayer, Kol Nidrei, Anu Matirim Litpalel Im Ha'avaryanim, we permit to pray with the sinners, then it feels that the father and the son, they are not the one who makes the sins, but maybe all the others that are not in the that didn't stay at the synagogue for Yom Kippur. So in this package, we have analyzing the film, analyzing the characters, analyzing the meaning of Yom Kippur. We have some midrashim, we have some verses, we have some sifim. The teachers and educators can take this film, which is about 25 minutes, and work with the community for a program before Yom Kippur. I want to go to the next example that takes place on Shabbat. The film called Ima Shel Shabbat, Shabbat Mother. This is a story of a widow. She's a modern Orthodox woman. She has 3 daughters. One daughter is decided to be secular. The second daughter is like the mother, is what we call modern Orthodox, but the third daughter decided to be more religious. She's not ultra-Orthodox, but what we call, if you know the Israeli terms, we call Chardal, maybe Orthodox, but more than modern Orthodox. Let's see the scene after they lighting the candles after Knisat Shabbat. Let's go.
זה כבר תודה. נו. זה כבר שטוף, עם סבון.
כן, אבל יש תולעים שלא יורדות בשטיפה. צריך ממש להקפיד על זה, זה יותר גרוע מלאכול חזיר.
זה בטוח פחות טעים.
אז מה עם הלימודים? את חושבת שתצליחי לסיים השנה?
אני מקווה, בעזרת השם.
בעזרת השם. אז מה, התחלת לחפש איזה עבודה? אני לא יודעת כבר כמה עבודה יש היום. בחינוך לגיל הרך.
דווקא בבית ספר שאני עושה עבודה מעשית אולי הציעו לי להישאר. ילדים שם מאוד אוהבים אותי.
ומה עם דודי? הוא לא חושב למצוא איזה עבודה בזמן הקרוב או משהו?
האמת היא שהוא דווקא רוצה להתחיל לעבוד עכשיו.
יופי. סוף סוף קיבל קצת שכל לראש. וזה לא בעיה היום למצוא עבודה בלי תואר?
הוא מצא עבודה. בניקיון. כל מיני בתי כנסת בשכונה בערבית.
ואמא שלו כבר יודעת מה שהבן שלה הולך לעשות?
ההורים שלו מעריכים את זה שאחרי יום שלם של לימודים הוא הולך לעבוד. חוץ מזה שהם לא מתערבים לזה בחיים.
מה קרה?
רק רציתי לקום ותרימה.
תביא בבקשה סמרטוט רצפה.
אני אביא.
לא קרה כלום, אני אסדר הכל.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום. נו, מה שאשתי הסובלת?
יש צירים, אבל מה לך אכפת? לך לא כואב, נכון?
שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון.
Well, this wonderful film is talking about the relationship between the mother and the three daughters. So let's see what is hidden in there. There is the oldest daughter, Yael. She decided that she doesn't want to be religious. But really interesting that the mother is accepting her way, not because she likes the idea that Yael is secular, but it seems more that Yael is standing on her own and she says to her mother whatever she wants to say, and the mother doesn't argue with her. The youngest daughter, Cheli, who became more religious, she is the character that the mother is more afraid of her. And it's really interesting because what is so hard to the mother to accept what her daughter is asking, and her daughter sustained and stayed religious. So the film asks, why does the mother have so many difficulties to accept her daughter? The mother accepts the middle daughter, that she really stayed exactly like the mother, that she's pregnant, we didn't see her, and she's about to give birth. But it seems like Cheli, the youngest one, in a way she's threatening the mother point of view about her religion. What we saw in the scene, both of them, the mother and the daughter, are very yekish. Yes, the mother is checking the glasses to see that they clean, and the daughter is checking the letters that they see there are no bugs. But the mother criticizes what her daughter is doing, but she's not criticizing herself. So in a way, they are similar. But I think it's more than that. For the mother, the whole film is hard to accept everything that Cheli does, the way she dresses, the fact that her husband is decided that he wants to study Torah and not to go to work. And it seems like the mother, even though she's religious, she rejects Cheli's religion because maybe both of them are religious. But Cheli, in a way, criticized the mother's point of view about religion because Cheli says, I'm more religious than you, so maybe your religion is not good enough for me. So this is very hard for the mother to accept. Another circle in the film that the middle daughter, Ella, she has a baby that doesn't want to go out. And the whole Shabbat is the time that everyone is gathering together. And in religious families that they don't drive, so they stuck together the whole Shabbat. So the whole relationship is come up. And Ella is always yelling that the fact that she has a baby and she doesn't want it and it's hard for her. But only when the relationship in the family will be solved, only when Cheli will open her mouth and tell her mother, why don't you see me? Why don't you see my needs? And the mother will understand that she didn't count Cheli, she didn't count her way in life. Only this will be the time that the baby will go out and the problems will be solved. So this film, many films that are going and asking questions about one of the kids that becomes more religious or less religious, most of the films are showing that if the kid decided to be not religious and become more individual, that he feels free. But this film is trying to speak about the fact that Cheli wants to be more religious and ask the question, why is it so hard to the parent to accept the fact that Cheli has different point of view about life? Another thing that's hidden in this film is reminds us of the story of Yaakov and Yosef, Joseph and his brothers, by the fact that the mother is preferring one daughter on the other. And Cheli says in this film, she says like, you don't hear me, you don't hear my needs, you don't know that I want also to become pregnant, but I'm going into many doctors for a year and you don't even notice me, you don't even count me. And the resources that we have in the kit about also this film, that we go back to the story of Yaakov and Yosef and what's the price that a family is paying by preferring one child on other ones. So again, this is only two sentences about the film. The film is 30 minutes. It's dramatic. It's touching. You laugh and cry on the same times. You see again also the differences between the partnerships, between the relationship between each kind of a couple, the modern Orthodox couple, the ultra-Orthodox couple, and the fact that the secular daughter, that she's not married, this is also another issue in the film. But I want to go to the other kit, not the Shabbat and the holidays, but to the outsiders. This is a new kit that we just released, and I want to start, this kit has 4 films that are dealing with the outsider, but how does the community act when she sees, when the community sees something that is a bit different. So we started with a film. This film is in Yiddish, but it has English subtitles. All of our films have English subtitles, and it's called A Maise. A Maise, it's a story. It's a story about Jose. Jose is a foreign worker who comes to work at an old man's house, and he becomes like his son because his kids doesn't pay attention to him so much. And this man, he's a Holocaust survivor, so in a way, the film also speaks about what does it mean to be a foreign, for the worker to be a foreign in Israel and how the society treats the foreigners, workers, but also he was a foreigner back there in Europe, and he also has these memories. So let's see a clip from A Maise.
Den Stumme.
Sind wir gegangen, Master?
What are you doing?
Wie gehst du? I'm sorry.
איפה הוא? שוטרים בדרך תפסו אותו גונב כסף, כמעט עשו לו לינץ'. איפה חוזה? אבא, אתה לא מבין כלום. לא מבין עברית, לא מבין אנגלית, לא מבין את חוזה. אתה לא יודע מה רוצים ממך. אבא, זה לא יעזור עכשיו.
תתה, אומר תרד שונדה.
אבל תקשיב לי, זאת ההזדמנות האחרונה שלך. תגיד להם שזאת הייתה טעות, שלא ידעת, והכל יהיה בסדר. אבא, תקשיב לי עכשיו!
Nein! Jetzt! Er sich zu mir!
שבת שלום, מצטערים על הפרעה. יש לנו דיווח שפה עובד זר. מפה בעל הבית.
שבת שלום לכם.
שולם עליכם מלאכי השרת. פה אין אף אחד.
אכפת לך שנבדוק?
בבקשה.
עשינו זה משהו התפתח בשטח.
מי נמצא בשירותים?
תשמע, בן אדם מבוגר.
בסדר, נראה. לא שלסטוק.
Well, I know that we are in the middle of the tense. Well, the story is that policemen are searching for a foreign worker that don't have permission, and maybe Jose doesn't have permission to be and to work there, and he needs to run away. But the film doesn't speak about the hope, the law, what to do with the foreign workers, but the way we treat them, the way. The gap between the way the kids are treating their old father, that he's in a wheelchair and he needs help, and the fact that they have this worker that can do everything instead of them, and they treat him as only he has a function, that he needs to take care of the father, and they don't see him as a whole person. So when the police come, they say, well, we don't want to get involved, get rid of him, that's it. What happened after that, when the policemen are knocking on the door and they know that somebody is there, then Jose, that he comes from China or Thailand, he starts to speak Yiddish to the father, and the old man says, well, he's my grandson. So it's really interesting because the kids are talking to their father in Hebrew, and they are, most of the time, they're very much hard on him. They give him order, do that, don't do that, but only Jose, he's a soft person, that he realized this old man as a whole person, but also the old man, he sees Jose as a person. So when Jose wants to leave, he leaves his photo at the father's pocket because they have something in common. They share life. They are both needy people, but they really count on one another. But when the son and the daughter, that they have work, they have families, they have energy, probably they also have money, they think that they are solving their father problem by letting him have this foreign worker, but if it doesn't work, well, let's get rid of him. So this film really criticized the fact that people don't treat other people that only have some kind of a function or a role and don't see them as a whole person. In the kit, we also have some articles from rabbis about how to treat foreign workers in Israel, which become a big issue. But also, I think this film goes to the very, very specific dibel from Aseret HaDibrot of Kabed Avicha and Imecha. Yes, these kids, they mechabdim, they respect their parents, their father, because he has what he needs according to warm house and food, but they don't speak to him as a person. They don't sit with him and talk to him about relationship. They only have some laws, what to do and what not to do. And this is also goes to the question these days that we live in a modern life. How does the family work when the old parents don't live next to their kids? Maybe in old times, in the villages, we all live together. But the modern times are making these people more lonely. So how do we find solutions, not only practical solutions, but also emotional solutions that the old people won't feel that they are interfere and they are not the part of the family anymore. The film has also, the way the film has done, it has a story in a story. At the beginning and at the end of the story, we see a bunch of old people with their workers, with their people who treat them, sit in a public garden, and they speak in Yiddish, and they have their laughs and the jokes. And in the inner story, we see the difficulty of this old man. But when we go out back to the old story, we see that they really, to the big story, that they have life and they share jokes and they share stories. But it makes us feel very sad because the young generation see the old people as something that is like sit here and we cannot solve everything only with a solution of a money. So this film is dealing with this question. Another film that also deals with how to treat somebody who looks different, or in that field is someone who is a handicap, is about shidduchim, about matchmaking, and the way, again, we treat each other from the external point of view. Not before seeing the person, we judge him only on the way that he looks from the outside. So the next film called A Little Bit Different, קצת אחרת, and it's a story of Chava. Chava was engaged, and she's an ultra-Orthodox, nice woman, young woman, and she was engaged. But she felt that her fiancé doesn't understand her freedom and the freedom of the soul that she needs, and she broke the engagement minute before the party started. So she became somebody that it's difficult to find another shidduch, another date for her, because people don't want to get out with somebody who broke engagement, because maybe what she has in her mind. But then she meets a guy that her parents and the Rabbanit were matching, and it appears to be that he has a problem with his legs. Let's see her reaction to him.
מה קרה? הוא נכה. מה? מה, נכה עם כיסא גלגלים? קביים. אז זה לא כל כך נורא. זאת אומרת, אני מתכוונת שבגלל הנסיבות יופי. 5. עד הסוף, עד הסוף, עד הסוף. 4. מלכי. תדע לך להשקיע בכפיפות בטן. זה יעזור לך אחר כך בלידות. בואו נעשה משהו חדש. 4, 2, 3, 4, מה זה התרגילים האלה? זה חייב להיות בכזה רעש. זה תרגילי אירופי, זה מאוד חשוב, זה מחזק את סיבולת לב ריאה, והמוזיקה זה רק בשביל הקצב, זה הכל. יש לנו בשורה מאוד משמחת, אסתי התארסה אתמול. טוב, שיהיה בקרוב גם אצלך. לא, תשאירי. אני רק חיפשתי את החולצה שנתתי לך בארון, לא... זה בסדר. אבל את צריכה פה יותר בירה. כן, ואז זאת באמת הרבה יותר מתאימה לך. היום לא הייתי קונה פרק כזאת. לאה, תגמרי בבקשה לגייס את מה שנשאר. התקשרת לרבנית פריש? כן. התקשרתי. מזל שהיא לא הייתה בבית. לא הייתי יודעת מה להגיד לה. כזאת בושה. איך ציפיתם שאני אתנהג? הרי לא אמרתם מישהו נכה. בכל זאת לא היית צריכה להתנהג ככה. את חושבת שהוא נעלב? אמא, תדברו עם הרבנית פריש שאני אתנצל בפניו. שלום.
ערב טוב. מצאת את המקום בקלות?
Moshe, the guy that Chava went to say that she's sorry, he's a lovely person. He was the Ilun. He was one of the smartest guys in the yeshiva. And car accident make his legs to become like that. And he tells Chava something very interesting during the film. He says, my difficulties everybody can see, but yours, you are hide them inside. There is no person that he doesn't have any chesonot, any difficulties or bad things inside. But mine are outside, so let's deal with them. But what are the things that you're hiding? And of course, because she gave this a second chance, she realized that he maybe will be her soulmate because he was willing to meet her again, and she was willing to go over the fact that he's using this to help his legs. And it reminds us of an interesting midrash that is on Gemara on Masechet Avot, that the daughter of the Caesar, the daughter of the king, told Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. She looked at him, and he was an ugly person. And she said, wow, you're so wise, but in an ugly vessel. Why does such a wisdom is in an ugly vessel? So he told her, does your father keeps the wine in not in a glass bottles, but only in a pottery? And she says, no, we are rich. So he told her, if you're a rich family, keep your wine in a gold and silver bottles, because you are fine family. So she went to her father, and they put the wine in a gold and silver, and what happened? The wine became very sour. So she came, and the father asked her, who told you to do so? And she says, Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. And the Caesar, the king, called Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania, and he asked him, why did you tell my daughter to put all the wine in gold and silver bottles? And he said, because she told me, how come a fine wisdom can be in an ugly vessel? So the fact that the wine is better in like ugly vessels, let's say, so maybe the wisdom is also better in this kind of a battle. And this also film and also the midrashim that we have in the package go to the question about what is more important, the wisdom or the beauty, or the external beauty. How do we judge people? Do we judge people according to the way they look, according to the way they speak, or how do we jump over it and we go under and understanding the speciality in each person? So also Chava and Moshe in this film, and also the old man and Jose, his foreign worker, on the film that we saw before, Amaisa, they are all films that are trying to take out the stereotype, to take out the fear of the foreigner, to take out the fear of the stranger, and to see underneath and understanding that everybody was created B'Tselem Elohim. I know I'm speaking a little bit short about each film, but I want you to see that we have more than only this film. So we will go to the next film, and we see only 3 minutes from it because it goes to a different level by talking about the outsider. The next film called Full of Life, and this is for teenagers. All the films can fit teenagers from 13, 14 years and above, but this is especially speaks about a girl. She's about 12 years old, and she's a little bit fat. And her mother forces her to go to a camp for fat kids, which she doesn't want to because she feels that she doesn't want to swim. Everybody will laugh at her. And this is a very big problem by the fact that we accept ourselves, especially women, and especially what we see on the media. So let's see a few minutes from the film Full of Life.
כשכולם הציעו חברות בכיתה, אז ילדה אחת עבדה עליי שהבן הכי מקובל בכיתה רוצה... אני השתרה יודעת שעובדים עליי. זה לא כזה בטוח שעבדו עליה. ברור שכן.
שכל אחד ידבר בתורו. רוני, את רוצה לדבר על מה שקרה בבריכה?
לא קרה שום דבר מיוחד. אז למה לא נכנס? היא לא יודעת לשחות. היא לא יודעת לשחות כשיש רזים בסביבה.
אני אנסה לשנות את השעות שלהם. רוני, מחר את נכנסת.
אנחנו הולכים לעשות היום פעילות ספורטיבית במים. הפעילות הספורטיבית אמורה לעזור לחזק לכם את השרירים. אני מציעה שכולם חייבים להתנסף בפעילות הזאת. אם אתה לא יורד פשוט לבחור, אז אין תחרות מחר, אתה מבין את זה?
זאת תשבי כאן כמו באיזו חופשה, סיכמנו שאת נכנסת.
סיכמנו שהם לא יהיו כאן.
לא הצלחתי לשנות את זה. וזה לא משנה אם הם כאן או לא, ספורט זה חובה.
אין לי כאן בגד ים.
את לא שונה מאף ילד כאן. 2 דקות ואת בפנים.
In this film, like in many films that we have, in the DVD, you have also behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, it's about 5 to 7 minutes that we see what the director think about that film, what was in his mind, why did he do what he did, and we see also interviews with actors. So in a few minutes, I will let you see behind the scenes of that film because I think it's very important. Again, the ideal of what does it mean to be beautiful, it's a matter of culture. If we compare the Mona Lisa, for example, which was some decades ago, she was a little bit chubby or fat. I don't know if she was fat, but she was not so skinny. She was not Barbie. Or even if you go backwards to the dream that Paro was dreaming about the 7 cows that came out from the ore, and they ate the thin ones. So being fat, and that represents something vital, something that's full of life. That's also the name of that film. It's something that has to do with the culture. So this film also asking questions about in which culture do we live? What does it mean to grow up in the stress, especially about youngsters to become very thin? But also, according to a Jewish point of view, how do we treat the beauty? So, because we don't have much time, I want us to see a little bit from behind the scenes of that film, Full of Life.
כתבתי עליה איזה מונולוג קצר. מהמונולוג הזה היה, כולם סביבי אמרו, את חייבת לעשות מזה סרט, ואני אמרתי, לא פתאום. בדיוק ממה שאני מפחדת, שיגידו איש מנה עושה סרט השמנים, אמרתי, יאללה, מה אכפת לי? זה כזה, כאילו, עושה סרט השמנים, ונראה מה יהיה.
באודישנים כתבנו במודעות שיבואו ילדים מלאים. באו ילדים שכיפים, שמשום מה החליטו שהם שמנים.
ומתקשרים על ילדים רזים, ואומרים שהם מתאימים בדיוק לסרט, ואתה מגיע לאודישנים ורואה צפלוני, ואתה אומר לו, אתם לא שמנים, אתם לא מתאימים לנו, זה מהלך מאוד מוזר.
אנחנו נעקוב אחרי המשקל שלכם כל יומיים. ואתם תראו כמה זה פשוט לרדת במשקל אם רק תשמרו על הכושר ותזונה נכונה.
פחדתי שהדמות שאני מחפשת לא תעיז להסתובב בבגד ים, ולא תעיז שיצלמו אותה באמבטיה בכלל. היא כאילו אין לה בושה בכלל ולא אכפת לה כלום, ולהסתדר טוב בסוף.
יש שם ילדה בשם רוני, שאני משחקת אותה, ונורא התחברתי אליה, כי נגיד אם היא רוצה משהו, היא מתעקשת עליו, היא הולכת עד הסוף, כמוני. לינה מגניבה, כזאת, הדמות הראשית היא ממש מרדנית כזאת, מגניב.
לאן את הולכת? עוד לא גמרת את האימון.
מה תסתכל?
זה משחק כפול, כאילו, להגיד, אני שמנה טוב לי. כי בסופו של דבר, זה מתעמתים מול זה, ועומדים מול זה, ולא תמיד טוב, ולא תמיד קל. כאילו ילדה שמתנהלת בשני הערוצים האלה, מצד אחד אל תגידו לי מה לעשות, מצד שני, כן קשה לה לקבל את עצמה, כן קשה לה, היא לא יכולה להיכנס לגינה בבריכה כי היא מתביישת. והיא מודעת לזה שיש בעיה, אבל היא כאילו, היא צריכה את הדרך לצאת ממנה. הדבר השני שמאוד חשוב לי זה האינדיבידואליות, שלא לחבות אותה בשם איזה מסר חברתי כללי כזה, כולם צריכים להיות ככה וכולם צריכים להיות ככה, באמת שהרצון לרזות או הרצון לעשות משהו יהיה רצון מאוד פנימי, ולא רצון של אנשים סביבך.
אם באמת היו מציעים לי ללכת לקייטנה הזאת, הייתי הולכת, כי הייתי עושה את זה רק בשבילי.
ההפקה הייתה מאוד קשה. גם כי היינו באמצע הקיץ, השבוע הכי חם באוגוסט. זו הפקה ממש מורכבת, וכשאתה כותב את התסריט אתה לא בהכרח יודע מה אתה הולך לראות על הסט.
היו גם דברים קצת מפחידים שעשינו, היינו צריכים לצלם מגובה, מעל המים, אז הייתי צריך, הבאנו את העמדה של המציל ליד שפת הבריכה, ממש על הקצה, ואני שכבתי מעליה עם המצלמה, זה היה כזה נורא מסוכן.
זה היה באיזשהו חדר, אפילו מלא תאורה והכל, והיו צריכים לבלגן את החדר בכוונה בשביל הצצנה, והבעיה היא שהיה שם נורא חם, כל הזמן הזענו. וגם שהייתי צריכה בקטע הזה לפקוט, ולפעמים לא הצלחתי, עם בצע, לא משנה. אז שמו לי דמעות מזויפות כזה, אבל הכי נורא שהיה שם חם.
הסצנה בלילה הייתה הכי כיף, הסצנה האחרונה. זה הכי כיף לצלם, וגם היה נעים סוף סוף, וגם באמת יש שם אווירה נורא קסומה בבריכה בלילה, וזה לא משנה מה תעשה שם, זה קסום.
היה מאוד כיף, קודם כל תמר היא באמת, היא אישה מקסימה, היא חמודה מאוד. היא גם כן, היא נורא מצחיקה.
קווי הדמיון מאוד גדולים ביני לבין רוני. אני חושבת שאולי כילדה הייתי יותר סלחני. אני חושבת שיש משהו קצת מבוגר בהתייחסות שלי לרוני עכשיו. זאת אומרת, מה שבניתי ממנה, אבל כן זה משהו שאני יכולה לחשוב שהייתי עוברת כילדה, הייתי עוברת אותו ככה.
רוני, את רוצה לדבר על מה שקרה בבריכה?
לא קרה שום דבר מיוחד. אז למה לא נכנס? לא יודעת לשחות. לא יודעת לשחות כשיש רזים בסביבה.
אני אנסה לשנות את השעות שלהם. רוני, מחר את נכנסת.
This cute and important film is also represent two types of parents that are forcing their kids to be something that the parents want them, but the kids don't. But I think what's nice in this behind the scenes that we see that the actor who acts the girl that she's supposed to be the fat one, she doesn't have any difficulties with her weight, and she was very happy to be the one who acts the fat girl, and she feels very strong with her the way she appears on the screen. So I think when youngsters and girls are watching this film, but also boys, that they can represent themselves and identify themselves in the footstep of this girl, and understand that, first of all, you can speak about anything, and second, they can really don't feel that the pressure and society pressure should be very, very strong on them. So what we did so far, we saw like 8 clips from these lovely kits that we have in Hebrew and also in English. Each kit has 4 films, but what I want you to see is I will ask Lily to put on Ma'ale website on the screen. When you go into our website, you can see that we have more than 150 films. And if you go up, you see on the screen, you have the link films. And in the films, you have so many films that you can choose for any subject you want. In the films, there is a button which is called Seminar Topics. And there you can find women in the Jewish law, what does it mean to be a soldier, brief in the Israeli society, settlement and settlers, faith, Akedat Yitzchak, Shabbatot, of course, high holidays, Chanukah, Purim, Tisha B'Av, any subject almost that has to do with what does it mean to be in a Jewish family, respecting your parents, what does it mean grown up, you can find there. You can download most of our films. And I think what's really very strong in those films that they're very believable, because the stories are the stories that the directors, which most of them are young directors who are students, they come up with conflicts that they feel it's their conflicts. That's why it's very strong and believable. Through these films, even if the films are only dealing with dating, but the fact that we see them in a Jewish or religious families, the language is different. So I think as educators or programmers in synagogues and communities, you can use each film on a different mark. And if you need something for Yom Ha'atzmaut or you need something for independent, then you can use many of our films. The films that I showed today, there are 8 films that are with this Seret Nekuda Shiur. But you're more than welcome to use many as our films only for watching and for your joyful, but also using as really educational kits, because there are many, many layers in them. If you will be friends of our website, you can see that every month we have the film of the month. It's free of charge. You can watch it, you can use it, you can take it into your class. This week there is a story that's based on the biblical story of Jephthah's daughter, but every month we change it according to the importance of this month. So I know it was just a little bit from each film, but you're more than welcome to write to us, ask questions. We can help you in using any of the films that you would like to, and be our friends. So I will ask Lily at the end to show again our promo for Film That Course, and go to our website www.ma'ale.coil and use our films. It's beautiful and powerful tools for everyone. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
מסוגלת להסתכל עליי, לראות מי אני. אומרים שבשבת יש נשמה יתרה. אולי הפעם היא תישאר איתנו עד השבת הבאה. New from the Ma'ale Film School. Film kits for teachers, shlichim,
and educators. Topics include Outsiders and Shabbat and the Holidays. Great for workshops, classes, and presentations. Includes content analysis, cinematic language, methods, and Jewish sources. Film that course. There is more to do in the classroom. For details, maale.co.il.
Thank you again for everyone. I know that some people that watching us couldn't be able to watch the little clips, but I believe that 24 and 24, the Steindel's project, will put everything on the website. And again, you can go into our website and watch them there. Thank you very much for the opportunity and regards from Jerusalem. Shalom ולהתראות. Bye bye.